Welcome back to another triathlon podcast brought to you by Mana Apparel. As always, we're going to break down everything going on in the triathlon world, and what a weekend of racing it was. There were some epic performances, a couple showdowns, and we're going to have some fun recapping it. But this week, we've got a special guest host. We've got Conor from, you'll probably recognize his Instagram handle, On Yer Left, and he's going to be helping us break down some of these results. And joined, as always, by Josh and Fed. But let's start by saying hi to Conor. How are you doing?
Good morning, guys. It's Monday. It's my birthday week, so some extra energy going on this week. But feeling fabulous, living healthy, feeling groovy, as I always like to say.
Nice.
Love it. Happy early
birthday.
Thank you.
Josh, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. It's a good week on the training schedule, and I had a good week previous. So excited to get after it. I think really got through the injury scare and came out of it and did some running with weight on it this weekend. So I feel ready to go and start to get ready for Oregon and Chicago Marathon block.
Perfect. Glad to hear it. Yeah, I know it's always stressful when you have that injury and you're kind of hyper aware of it for a while. So glad to hear it's feeling better. How about you, Fed? What's going on in your world?
Hey guys, good to see you. Good. I'm not looking forward to this week's because training's gonna be a bit wet. A lot of time in the pool, which I'm not very keen on getting into the water. But yeah, feeling good. And also, today's my dad's birthday, so feeding off those same energies as Conor is feeding off this week. So yeah, all good. What about you, Jenna?
Nothing too crazy. Just training away here. Had another big bike week, but time to start to transition a little bit more to adding back some more running. As much fun
Dodging
as
hell.
oh, one of those rides yesterday. Got hailed on, rain, hail again. I was like, okay, I'm going back to the pain cave. I'm just done with this. Race day, I'll deal with that. During training, there's just not worth the suffering. But excited to get back some more running time in, and got T100 in Vancouver coming up in 2 weeks. So I'll be out there racing and spending probably more time watching the pro racing because these races are a blast to watch. But before we go into kind of the breakdowns, why don't we get to know you a little bit better, Conor? A lot of people have seen your On Your Left Triathlon Instagram account, and you always have some entertaining stuff from, especially the breakdowns of the start list and now your injury reserve list. But why don't you tell us, how did you get started with it?
Yeah. First, thanks, guys, for having me on the podcast. It's great when people give On Your Left a platform. Because I know sometimes like people don't know what to make of it. And I usually just go on podcasts that like I know the people very close. So it's actually very interesting to go on podcasts where people don't know me personally and they just know the Instagram. This started during COVID. It was called Side Stitch Media. Fede, you might remember it, but it was basically a pro news blog. We got about 2,000 hits a month, 20,000 unique hits a month. We were literally just pumping out blogs about like, if you don't remember, it was Super League Triathlon Arena Games with like all the fire and like all the graphics. And it was like the only thing going on during COVID. So I was an amateur at the time. And these two friends of mine, Spencer Ralston and Ernie Mentel, Spencer's retired. He's like rock climbing in Vermont, but like short course guy, beast of an athlete. Ernie is still a pro, lives in Europe, just like an industry guy. That website was like what brought us through COVID. And then there was like a falling out. So I had to like shut it down, and I kind of regrouped, and I was like, what comes natural to me? Well, it's comedy. That's like what I enjoyed doing, is like writing comedy blogs. So I just started posting just memes and stuff. And that's like really like where it took off, was like, there's none of this in triathlon. If it is, there's a lot of like anonymous meme accounts. Like it's never like owner facing. And that's kind of what I pride myself, is like, I'm putting my name on everything. I don't really think it's like cool to like post like shit posts without putting your name on stuff. So through that, like I've built like a community of like friends and people that like fed me content. And so I was like, oh, this is bigger than me. Like people resonate with this. I can grow this. I can build on what other people's opinions are without them being exposed. So I kind of like I feel like I'm on a crusade in triathlon to like change the culture ultimately. Like it feels like that right now. And that might be like arrogant to say, but there's not many accounts doing what I do publicly that are front facing. And that's kind of like what started On Your Left. It was just like what comes natural. I'm a creative guy. I am going to like push to be an elite athlete in the sport. So like I got to know the sport. I got to be like, otherwise I'm just going to like lose interest. That's kind of how I am. So with like just meeting people through the account, I've expanded my triathlon knowledge because I started bumping elbows with like faster people and people who like want to get to know me personally. Like, who is this guy? Is this hysterical? His takes are like so on like on the money, and like half the time they're not even my takes. They're just like people feeding me takes. So it's really been a blessing to like extend my triathlon career, because when I started it, I was already in the sport for like 8 years and I was kind of like stepping out of it. And then my wife's like, no, you should go race for the elite like field during COVID because we were training so much. And so that like really like On Your Left has created like a second life for me in triathlon. And Fede knows, like, he's known me for years. I used to have an Instagram, which was my personal Instagram. And it was like the most like gross thing looking back on it. It was just all me, like shirtless, ego, right, dude? I
I
had like
remember that. Yeah. Yeah, that's
13,000
cool.
followers. It was, I grew it and it wasn't me though. And it really wasn't me. And it was something that I was playing to play the social media game. And I understood both aspects of the business of triathlon, of like having to feed the social media machine to get sponsors, to like play the political game in a sense. And then there was this other side of me that was like the comedy side, like the Tim Dillon fan, just like the Doug Stanhope fan, growing up listening to Mitch Hedberg fan. And I'm like, there's something here. Like Barstool's creating something that's tangible. Pat McAfee is tangible. Why doesn't triathlon have that?
Yeah, yeah. I think you came along like in a very good timing, because when we met way back then, the triathlon scene was everything was like the same. Like everybody was posting the same thing, just from a different angle. And then you came into the scene and you started being a little bit bolder and like raw and very confrontative with the industry, and I think that was very refreshing to see. And of course, there were people that didn't actually understood or get the comedy, and but you kept true to yourself, and I think that's part of the like how cool On Your Left has become, and like pro triathletes make fun of themselves now, because I think you played a major role in that, because now they can look at themselves and be like, oh, I can actually make fun of my racing or my training, or it's actually kind of funny riding around in Lycra with like a stormtrooper helmet or whatnot.
No, exactly. And there was a lot of these conversations, and I'll be honest, comedy's hard. Like I've rubbed a lot of wrong feathers. Like I'm noticing, like I'm rekindling a lot of these like old issues that I've had with people that like are just misunderstandings. Like I'm not going to name names, but there's this guy who runs a huge media company, and like I saw him at St. George, and I just walked up to him and I'm just like, hey man, like I know you don't like me because I've heard like through A, B, C, and D. I'm sorry. And like he was like, oh, you're whatever. And he was like, oh, dude, I know, like, that was so dumb. That was 4 years ago. Like, I'm sorry too. But like in my head, I created this whole, like, and probably in his as well, like this persona of this person. And then you realize like how small the industry is. And I'm like, damn, like, it's hard for people to separate Conor Bollinger from On Your Left. And I'm realizing that after like 5 years into this. And it's because I keep my circle small with like who I really engage with in the sport. Like I mute every triathlon account because I don't want to be influenced by memes, by jokes, by opinions. I want everything to be unique because that helps cultivate like a creative environment for me. So like I'm just noticing that the sport has this perception of me personally, and that probably falls on me. Like it doesn't fall on anyone else. And that's what the hard part of comedy is like I have definitely ruffled feathers without the intent or like specifically like pointing someone out. I mean, there are a few instances where that has happened. And I take full responsibility, and I realize like, shit, like I maybe should do a better job of like filtering stuff, but I feel like I've developed like a great like filter on how to do that now 5 years down the road.
Yeah, and
I
that's the
think
tough part
that
with comedy. You really have to ruffle a few feathers to stand out and make a difference in there. And that's something that triathlon has been lacking. We've seen little tastes of it with guys like the Real Starkey or these accounts or people that come in that shake it up because they actually say what they're thinking. They are more unfiltered and not as worried about ruffling the feathers or what everyone thinks of them. And I think up until this point and outside of those few examples, it's just been a lot of, it is a small industry, so everyone wants to play nice and be friends, and you don't get the same entertainment out of that as something like
No.
what you do that, excuse me, does ruffle a few feathers. Have you found that it's hurt you in ways with like sponsors or some of those relationships, or
I
do
could,
people
I could,
mostly?
yeah, no, I can, because I had an Instagram with 13,000 followers. Like, I was getting free stuff, and I was hitting that like milestone of like, you're now like considered an influencer versus now where I'm not looking for those sponsorships, and the sponsorships I do cultivate, like the people know like what On Your Left is about. Like I did a CBD sham cream, Zoot Sports. Like when those guys meet me and like we talk, they're like, yeah, like your content's hysterical. And they'll be honest with me. They're like, dude, you're really like isolating a huge demographic of the sport. And I'm like, yeah, it's like if you want to like, because On Your Left was a business at one point, like an apparel business of casual street style stuff. So like we saw minor success in that, but it's a grind, especially when you get into kits and all of that. And so I was getting to a point where I was like, I don't want to, do this. So I was reaching out to industry people on like, how can I monetize On Your Left and stuff? And he's like, dude, you isolate a huge section of the sport. He's like, you go after like the millennial Gen Z, like, 25 to 40-year-old, and it's comedy. He's like, that's not why people do the sport. And I'm like, oh shit, yeah, you're kind of right. Like, but that's what I want to do. And I think the sport is growing in that demographic area. And like what Fede said, like people are opening up to it. Like I was on the pool deck the other day and Jacob Birtwistle is there. And Matt McElroy's like, oh, dude, yeah, this is Conor. He runs On Your Left. And he doesn't know who Conor is, but he knew what On Your Left was. And I was like, damn, that's pretty cool. Like a short course guy from Australia knows the account. I'm like, we're hitting a chord then. Like if that guy knows it, we're hitting a chord. So.
Yeah, you just mentioned it too. The growth in the sport is that 23 to 39 type demographic too. I mean, I've seen recent numbers, I think, from USAT and stuff. So to me, you're going after, yeah, the sport is small, and the 40 plus year olds that you've known forever, the 35 plus year olds that you've known forever in the sport are there, and we all know each other. But the growth of the sport is one of the things that you're after because you're a fan of the sport. You love the sport. You love getting after it. You love competing. You love training. And that's important to you. From what I understand and what I believe, that you're after this because you love the sport first and foremost. And you're trying to change it so that we can have a future and keep growing the sport. So that demographic is really grabbing onto what you're doing. And you can kind of see it in some of the numbers that you've spit out in your reels recently.
Yeah, and the thing that hurts the most, like hearing that and stuff and knowing like, yeah, the sport is growing. And that's kind of what you realize when you build this at the beginning. You're like, no, I see it growing already. This is going to be my audience in 5 years, 10 years. It's going to be the majority. And the thing that kills me the most is like, I'm persona non grata. Let's get real here. Like to Ironman, to T100, like T100 used to view our stories all the time. I flew out two of our junior content creators to go out, do field reporting. They send me an email back. This was great. This was out of the box stuff. Like, just unique conversations, and the athletes love it. Like our athletes know Blake and Quinn like very well. And I bet you they wouldn't give me a press pass now. Or like Ironman, I know for a fact our memes circulate internally, but we're persona non grata around Ironman. And that's the hardest part is like they don't see what, or maybe they do and they just don't like On Your Left. But I just feel like there's such a product when it comes to comedy and sports. And we see that time and time again with like what's going on at ESPN. Like they built a whole afternoon lineup on opinions and personalities. Like these guys make millions and millions of dollars. Pat McAfee has his own show. If you listen to Pat McAfee back in the day, you're like, what? This would never get on ESPN.
Yeah.
And look where it is now. And that's kind of where I see the sport going. Like, just like we got to make it cool. And that's like what was my whole thing about Unbound Gravel last week. Like, I love what gravel does, but I woke up one morning and I'm like, dude, we're getting taken out to lunch by gravel. Like, and I was like, I'm just starting making fun of gravel. It might trigger some algorithm and piss some people off, but it's all in good fun. So that's why I just started going after them, because what they're doing is a lot cooler than what we're doing in terms of culture.
I looked at the view. I put it on and I looked at one point, and the views of the actual YouTube live stream were way above what you would see in a triathlon live view. I think the T100 was at like 4,700 at one point when I looked, and Unbound Gravel was like 25,000 or 200,000. I mean, it was insane how many people were live viewing a race that was in the 8th hour of the female gravel 200-mile race.
Yeah, it's hard to compete with that. And even like, I don't know, but the China live stream, there were hundreds of thousands, they were saying. And that might be believable just because, like, it's the only race. Like, Ironman Wanda sold, so that's why there's like no Chinese races for a few years, and now they're bringing it back. I'm guessing that's why, because they sold in 2023. And maybe it's because there's no other option to watch it out there. But there was like at one point 400,000, it said, viewing. I don't know if that's right, but wild if that's accurate.
And the Brazil broadcast yesterday too. I mean, these are just Ironman non-pro series, and here's Brazil, and you can watch a split screen.
Yeah.
Come on. Some of these local race organizers are doing it better at times than the Ironman, the big machine brand behind it, which is just insane to see.
Like, look at us right now. We have a quad box right now.
There we go.
Speaking of finish lines too, did you see that finish line in the 70.3 in France? It was like Indy League pulls into the stadium and the fireworks are going. It's like, this is an Ironman that nobody even knew was on this weekend.
Yeah. No, I saw that. That was like that's like the Louisville, finish line. That's the closest thing we got. It's like an open air mall.
That is insane. Well, why don't we jump in and chat a little bit more about the Ironman racing? We had Ironman Hamburg, the European Championship for the women's race, going on this weekend, and it was such a good battle. Fede, do you want to give us a rundown of what happened there?
Yeah, well, we had a pro women's only race, and we had the likes of Laura Philipp, Kat Matthews, Daniel Lewis, and we had an Ironman debut from Solveig Lovseth from Norway, and it was an incredible race. I mean, Laura Philipp, Ironman record 8:01, and I think Josh posted. Imagine if transition wasn't that long, we could potentially be speaking about the first.
I mean, it's legit
8.
almost a mile by the time they're done running. So she's at least way under 8 hours. I mean, it was 8:03 and 8:05, the top two, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, insane.
8:03, 8:05, and then Laura with a 2:38 marathon. Man, there's a trend when German triathletes stay quiet on social media. They're coming for something, and we had this coming from Papa Jan back in the day, Sebastian Kienle, and now Laura Philipp. When they stay quiet on social media and under the radar, and they have a race coming up, usually they perform really, really, really well.
And Laura was right there from the get too. Like, we talked about it last week, where I said maybe she doesn't finish first or second or third because she blows up on the run after trying to bike through. But she was right there in that top 4 swim. I mean, I couldn't. Jackie leading the swim, I mean, was surprising to me for a little bit, and she was pushing the pace. But I thought it was interesting right from the get with the 4 of them up front on the swim, and Laura was right there, and she didn't have to bike through to catch back up to Kat and could stay with her. And she literally rode her wheel pretty much the whole race.
For the people who don't know, when did Jackie go down with the flat?
Oh, I think it was fairly early on that it was getting squishy, and then just kind of got worse and worse throughout the race there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, she was able to get it, I think, on lap 1. It was already gone. She was able to get some CO2 in it, but it wouldn't hold. So she said she rode like the last 20 miles on a flat.
Is there no support though? Because I saw that she was on the side, and there was a mechanic next to her when she was, rubbing dirt in on her social media posts. I don't know.
Yeah,
It seemed really
I
stationary around the course. There didn't
yeah.
seem to be much roving. What do you think? Like she had that flat or almost flat that they're talking about for ages on the broadcast. Do you think they could
Yeah.
radio someone and say, "Hey,
Mm.
she's going to be here at this point"? Like, and we had the same with Love Seth. She had her. If you guys didn't watch the race, she had
her
one of her
bar.
arrow bars
Yeah,
go completely
just
90 degrees. It was
and
gone. And then it was so long that she was out there riding. She had to wait until she got to the stationary tech support to get someone with an Allen key to tighten it up. It's like, is there no way they can radio for a roving mechanic or just send someone on a moto with an Allen key to tighten that up? Like
Especially
stuff
on a
like
multi-loop course too, right?
that. Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah. No,
it's not
exactly.
like that far.
I mean, I really want to I want to highlight the 3 minutes off the Olympic qualifying time. I think Laura Philipp ran.
Yeah,
If I'm not mistaken. That's
yeah.
wild.
That is absolutely insane. And it seems like Kat went out a little hotter than she could hold, but that's all she could do. I think she was expecting to have a much bigger gap coming off the bike and coming out of the swim. She thought she'd have a few minutes, but that was not the case. Laura,
Did you see Mark's stories about how he was kind of throwing shade at Laura? He was like, Laura's not attacking during the hard sections.
Yeah.
She's kind of sitting in, and she's then attacking on the flat sections. And I'm like, well, that's racing.
Right. Yeah.
do
You
what
need
you
to play
can.
your strengths.
Yeah.
It's like the Giro. Everybody wanted here in Mexico with Sac del Toro. We wanted Carapaz to help him on the second to last stage, but Carapaz was playing his cards. He didn't want to pull the guy to the victory. So yeah, that's racing, and you might be cordial towards each other, but at the end of the day, you don't want to put yourself in a position of uh, helping the other guy or girl win, and then you're just pulling them along the ride.
Yeah, you
think
see it all. Yeah.
Go ahead, Connor.
No, to say you see it all the time in short course where like you get the grunt, the ego, where it's like, you guys aren't going to help, I'm going to do it. And then it's like, okay,
Yeah.
see you later on the run. Like you just blew up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
That's
fun.
the Hayden face and the Hayden complaints when no one else is pulling for him.
Yeah.
No, but that was such a good race. It was down to the last few kilometers before Laura Philipp finally passed Kat Matthews, and they're just kind of tracking her all day. And you know what? The broadcast actually managed to pick it up and didn't have an ad while they were passing by. So that was always good to see.
There was a part of me, I was going to bed and someone was DMing me like, race canceled an hour. And in my head, I was like, oh, if they cancel a swim, I'm going to have to wake up and make so many memes. So I'm very happy they didn't cancel the swim.
Oh man.
Oh,
It ended up being a beautiful day too, right? I mean, it was like the good thing they
Until the
delayed
run.
it until the run. Yeah.
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 You got to feel for the age groupers who are still on the bike at that point, because there are a few of them when that downpour just.
Oh yeah. And to Fedi's point, like going to the men's age group times, I was like, dude, they beat at like 2 age group men, and that's like a pretty big deal in Europe. Like the age group men are no joke. Like half of them could be like top 10ing at a regional 70.3 in their own right, or an Ironman. So like to see that was impressive too. From the ladies.
Yeah. It was. And what an incredible Ironman debut from Solvi. Like back in the day, we would say, oh, she's doing her first Ironman. She's going to gather experience. She's going to see if she likes the distance. But nowadays, it seems like every pro athlete who's making their Ironman debut, like they are zooming all the time. And, this is the Norwegian train school. And she did incredible. I mean, running at 2:46 is no joke. And then coming third, running at 2:46, just, I mean, it's incredible.
She was
She
pushing the
stuck
front of
with
that
it.
bike too with one arrow bar. Like she wasn't holding back. She's like, shit's going wrong.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
She was
keep pushing.
smiling. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on right now with like training and racing, meaning like these people are it's like a rest versus rust. Is it just like you're a naive like newbie and you just don't know, so you just do it, and that's what, you know, is the success, is like you're just naive to how the pain is or the anticipation of what to expect on the back half of the marathon. But Kat Matthews saying that she got a 5K PB as well, like off the bike. I'm just like, is the training just so different now where like this is the new norm of like you're basically racing slightly below 70.3 pace at 70.3 pace in some instances, because the body's really good at adapting, as we all know, and that's how sports progress. So like, is that just going to be the new norm of like, we're going to see these like Lucy at Lanzarote as well? Like, it's the level that the racing is getting at the pointy end is, you can see it in the times. I mean, fourth place was 30 minutes back. So
Yeah.
I think you're getting a lot of like that Sam Laidlow mentality where just push until you break. And if it's your day, you don't break. If it is, then you at least gave it your shot to have your best day. And that mentality is starting to trickle through more people in the field. And I think some of the naivety for sure with Sophie. But this race, and by the way, just to clarify, Kat did message me saying it was not a 5K PB overall. It was a 5K PB off the bike in an Ironman.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Like, that was cool. She was like the first thing she meant. I was like, no, we're not going to go talk about that. But no, yeah, she wanted to clarify that. Still like crazy because she knew Laura was coming. Because the first thing she said was that I'm running scared.
Yeah.
Well, before
it's also, sorry.
Go ahead, Conor.
No, I will say I'm not a big fan, and I don't know if, can you guys hear me all right? Because I had to be out. Okay. So I'm not a big fan of the Ironman social media team. I don't know if this is who recorded it, giving gaps to the athletes. Like, I saw that Ironman posted that of T2, and she was like, or he said 90 seconds back, and like she just like looked up and saw it. She could do that on her own. It's her responsibility to do that. If Mark is there and yells it, that's fine. But like, have an Ironman social media person. I don't know if that's the case, but that was like kind of weird in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's a hot take.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah, probably. Yeah.
That's a great debate. Like, what's the threshold of outside assistance?
Right. Well, you know, we don't usually talk about some of these other Ironman races just because there are so many on the circuit right now. But I had to bring up my what the F of this week is the Ironman Brazil race in there. If you didn't watch, we actually had a monoathlete, Luciano Tacconi, took the win for the men's side, which was incredible. But the story from this race is Manuel Macias ran a 2:26:50, being the first person to go under 2:30 in an Ironman marathon, which is absolutely insane. Sounds like the bike might have been a little bit soft, but I think he was 16 minutes back off of Luciano, but 2:26:50, that is unreal. What do you guys think about
all Strava hunting to see if it was a legit course? I followed a lot of the guys. I went into the age group top field and I was like, they still haven't posted.
No, but this race in Brazil always gives something to talk about. Like, I remember the first time Team Dawn broke the Ironman record was on this course, like, I don't know, 8 years ago or something, 9 years ago. And it's known for being a fast course, but 2:26, man, I was like, I couldn't believe it. I also was Strava hunting. It's incredible. And I don't know, it's, well, first of all, kudos to Lucho and to Fede. They did an incredible race, and Lucho deserves all of it. I mean, just the hardest worker in the room, and couldn't be happier for him. But my God, 2:26. I don't think a lot of people can do that after riding 112 miles and swimming. You know,
nobody's gone under 2:30. He didn't even go 2:29 something. I mean,
my God.
Let's just go right to the 2:26.
What's his background? Somebody, I think Blake DM'd me and was like, no, this guy, or Evan, this guy's got a run pedigree, short course, ITU guy. Is that the case?
Yeah. So he's at like top 20s in WTCS off of his run. His bike, he'll usually be in the second pack or farther. But then he'll have a run time that's up there with like Hayden Wild and stuff. So he's definitely got that run pedigree. But the crazy thing is, in St. George, he ran like a 1:13. So he ran a faster pace for this like marathon than he did a 70.3 a few weeks ago. But that bike would have killed the legs a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure.
And there was only that like one tiny hill that they had to do 4 times in Brazil.
Yeah.
Which was nice because they had the elevation profile that was very clear, and you could see it again on a broadcast that no one knew was on until he started running at 2:26.
People are starting to go, holy shit.
It's so, just, I will say it's sad though. Like as soon as someone has a performance like that, the taboo argument starts happening, and then you never know. So people just start looking in, and that's what happened with Thomas. Like I no one went to bat harder than I did for Thomas. I was like, no. Like his road, half, and marathon times are legit, and then it comes out. So hopefully everything's on the up and up, and I would love to believe that because that's how I view the sport. Fundamentally. So
the thing that excites me more about this one is because he has been on that WTCS circuit, so they're getting tested a little bit more regularly, I think, than someone like a Thomas. So hopefully it's legit in there. And you mentioned the Strava hunting and stuff. I think the numbers I saw were anywhere from like 25.8 to 26.1 miles overall. So even if it's that 25.8, you add a couple minutes, he's still under 2:30, which is just insane. I want to see him go up against a bigger field though, like a legit field, because we haven't seen a Patrick Lange or a Christian Blumenfeld go under 2:30, but they're riding a whole lot harder trying to win the race at the end of the day. So I'd be curious to see how he stacks up in a pro series race.
Yeah. I mean, he's still racing WTCS. Like his last race was in April. And he is usually a 14:30, 14:50, 5K type of guy. But from doing a 2:26 from that, like you could throw I don't want to say it's easy to run a 14:50 nowadays in WTCS, but there are a handful of guys who are able to do that. But I don't think there's a super strong correlation between running a 14:50 to a 2:26 on an Ironman, and still racing short course. I mean, it's incredible, but we'll take it with a grain of salt, and we'll see what happens.
I think honorable mention on this one too, because Luch was on the broadcast for a while. There was an age grouper that hung with him that seemed like he was almost pulling Luciano for a little bit too, which was pretty impressive. It wasn't like that guy in Texas that one year that ran one loop with Matt Marquardt or whoever it was. But this guy was he was staying with Luciano. It was almost like pulling him. Pretty impressive.
Some serious talent across the board. Well, let's jump into something a little bit shorter here. We had the T100 in San Francisco that I know we're all looking forward to watching this race go down. And it was kind of nice. This time we got to see a little bit more of the race without the crazy fog out there. I don't know about you guys, but I was having so much FOMO not being down there like last year, but it was great to watch.
Miss VIP at the finish line watching everyone puke.
Yeah.
It's just so good. Yeah. Got to watch it on TV this time. And I will say, before I go into the race results, the broadcast was okay. It wasn't as terrible as we've seen in the past. So
I think Conor's got a take on that broadcast.
It's literally my personality to just shit on the broadcast. I just can't believe TriMag posted that video. They were doing them a favor. I'm like, oh, this is free content. I would kill for this.
With them, I kind of like how they're starting to do there's the one commentator who's not the triathlon guy, who's kind of asking questions that maybe the new to the sport people are coming in and might have questions. But of course, we all know, and we're like, okay, same things over and over. But it is a way to kind of involve a little bit more of that community that might not know triathlon as well. And then talking to their support crew on the ground, you get some, I think, better insights there. But they could have done a little bit better at times with the balance between what they were showing in the men's and the women's race, for sure. Yeah,
it was sad not to have Jack or Jan there. I think that they make the dream team with another female color commentator, and then you have his name's not John Gooden, but I call him Temu John Gooden because I love John so much that he did a few of their races early in the beginning, but they basically replaced John with his clone and a UK guy that probably because John is too expensive because he does the UFC. But I think Jack and Jan are going to Vancouver, if I'm not mistaken. But No, I think like that they're involving of like next gen stats and like the heart rate and stuff. It's always valuable. Like when we saw the Slovakian guy Kubo, like he was redlining from the beginning, and you just knew, you're like, oh, this is going to be a long day for that guy. And lo and behold, it was.
Justin Reale redlining, trying to catch the lead pack on the bike, and I was like, it just wasn't going to get there, but he was trying.
No.
I like how they finally have some of those drone shots where you can see visually how far people are from each other instead of just that side-on shot and the timing and stuff. When we can actually see the gap between it and expanding, shortening, it definitely makes a little bit better difference than they're 10 seconds behind. Okay, what's that look like? Where are they actually catching? So
especially on that course where it's just so bunched up. And I put out a story on our Instagram. I was like, give me your hot takes about this. And I probably got like 30 responses, and, half of them I can't repeat, but someone said like, this really isn't a course for a draft. It's bad for the draft size on this course because you don't see the athletes. It kind of takes away from the power on the bike a little. Yeah, you do have some of that flat section by the water, but with the climbing and stuff, it's just, I don't know. I almost would rather see like the Alcatraz course, because you'd probably see half the athletes come with a road bike, and you would just see people just, go big or go home on the bike. And in that sense, like the venue itself, I'm not a huge fan of, but the run course I love. This run course is great. It's got everything.
Gravel mixed terrain, keeping it interesting there. But let's jump we'll start off with the men's race here. And this year, once again, we didn't have the boat quite starting at Alcatraz, which made for a short and fast swim. And everyone except one coming in together, which that would suck to be the one guy off the back. You got 19 out of the water together and one guy a couple minutes back. But it was definitely an entertaining watch. Fede, do you have a rundown of how the race went?
Yeah, I do have the results right here. And we had, again, German domination. Former 70.3 world champ Rico Bogen taking the win. And I think Jan called it. I think he knew something about Rico before the race. And he said he was going to take the win, and he did. Just incredible racing from him. Current 70.3 world champ yet again, so it's nice to see world champs backing it up. And then Mika Nut again from Germany on third place. Kyle Smith in fourth. Martin Van Riel coming in sixth. And what I really want to talk about right now, it's Vincent Louis. Like, first of all, his kid.
His kid.
Yeah, I was so excited because I kind of picked him to be on the podium too, and then he shows up with that kit, and I was like, man, I was fired up, ready to go. And then nope.
And then I don't know with Vince. I think he's having a hard time adapting to the middle distance ish racing, because the engine's there, but I don't know if it's like an Alistair Brownlee type of situation where he is like redlining it all the time, and then he has so little on the run. But yeah, maybe hopefully he'll figure it out, because if he is ready and up there, like, racing is going to be exciting.
Yeah, that kit. He definitely has some kind of like sponsorship or something with custom kits or custom helmets or something in there, because he has been showing up with new gear every time, and he makes a splash for his sponsors, whether he's at the front of the race or not. So they can't be too upset about that. Although I do wonder about the licensing with the 49ers logo and stuff. Like,
yeah, you have to pay the NFL that. I'd imagine the NFL owns that.
Well, little insider info there. Some of his sponsors aren't happy with helmet issues because they're supposed to get approval on all of the helmet designs, and they are finding out about the helmet designs on social media when they get posted, which made some people.
That's a real thing. You heard that? Like, people aren't happy because.
Yeah, from the sponsor. So
jeez,
they are getting a few not so happy emails afterwards, but. Yeah, because they've got that helmet space, essentially.
I have a meme ready to go. It's the more sunglasses and helmets you have, the slower you get. Because I've noticed this. I've noticed this correlation. The more he's accumulated, the slower.
Has nothing to do with age.
I have one helmet and I'm slow, so it invalidates the whole argument.
But This race is absolutely epic. I know a lot of people watching were seeing Rico Bogen out at the front there, and he definitely had. Was it Venice where he just had that blow up? Like he crushed the bike course and then got passed by everyone on the run. And I wonder if a few of his competitors at the T100 were kind of expecting the same thing, like, okay, we can give him a couple minutes and we'll catch him. But he ran, I think, like a minute slower than Yelly or something. Like he held it together. That was seriously
it was 3 minutes faster than anyone else on the bike.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Crazy. I love the shots that bike course though after they go over that like the top of the hill where they're all flying through the air.
Coming back, yeah.
I mean, it just goes to show like the course just benefited him, you know, like attacking the climbs. He's a heavier set dude, especially that weather. Like it was perfect conditions from what I heard temperature wise. Like he didn't overheat. So maybe Jan just, you know, saw it all like aligning for him. Like he did well last year. It's hard to go back to a course and do well, like back-to-back races. I didn't even have him in my top 3 because I'm like, I don't know, man, like you know, this is such a grueling circuit. Like we saw what he did at Venice, but like I didn't even have him there. And, you know, I just think it was perfect conditions, and Jan definitely knew that.
Not a bad weekend for Philipp Sipe.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, both Laura and Rico.
Oh, is that the coach?
Yeah.
Good deal. And I saw some crazy, what were his power numbers he was putting out there and stuff? What was it? Like
294, 394, I mean.
394. Right? I think there was a surge there of like 420 for like 3 minutes or something. Just incredible.
Unreal. What I'm hearing, like all the athletes were saying they rode their butts out. Like they were riding hard and he still put that kind of time into them. Like that is so great to see.
Well, I hear that and I'm like, is he aero? Because I don't want to accept the fact that that's what people are doing now at T100.
There's still a chance.
Yeah, right.
Well, we had Rico Bogen take the win, Jelle Geens in second, Mika Newt in third, which that was a great race for him too. Kyle Smith in fourth and Jamie Riddle in fifth. He had the best like finish line smiles and energy and just breakthrough race for him. I hope they bring him back because he showed up that wild card that he deserved it.
He delivered. Yeah.
He's a hot guy. I'll be honest with you. They need to lean into him. He's good looking. Like we had a poll of like who the hottest guy in triathlon is a couple of years ago, and Hauser won. And I think Jamie Riddle can contend right now. So we have to rehash that whole who's the hottest guy in triathlon.
And they're both performing well. So yeah, you might want to throw that back out there.
Love to see it.
I don't know how Morgan's going to do, though.
Morgan's a good-looking guy, yeah.
Man, that's the kind of fun stuff we need to be talking about here.
I don't think it would go over well if we did the women, so definitely.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Third rail.
Just do a guys of triathlon calendar. I'm sure that would get some good play.
Yeah.
I have an idea for legs of triathlon, where it's just from the waist down, just legs.
How far up?
Hoffman.
Yeah. We know that Hoff is going to win if it comes down with the calves.
Well, there was that one image where Jan like had a post-race recap and he goes to sit on the couch of his YouTube video and it's just his crotch that comes down. And everyone's like, why would you do this for free? Why wouldn't you put it on through a paywall?
And one of the most viral moments in triathlon was that Patrick Langer run down the finish line in Kona where people start talking about the third leg going on there. That's the way we get triathlon out to the people.
I thought we were over that one, Jenna.
Just say it. Oh, man. Well, the fun part here, we get to see these guys racing again in 2 weeks in Vancouver to see if Rico holds up and can back it up week after week. That would definitely cement him as one of the ones to watch for that T100 series. And only, I think he's like 25 years old or something. Like he's young, isn't he?
Yeah, he's still in university, right? That's like he's still studying at college.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
Well, let's jump into the women's side of things. We had another incredible race here. Fede, do you want to let us know what happened?
Yeah, we had another incredible race, and we all thought again Taylor Neve was going to take the win as always because she's been dominating all the time. But we had like incredible athletes: Julie Derron, Kate Wolf, Paula Finley, the comeback from Holly Lawrence, who she just became a mom and was awesome to see. But no, Julie Derron took the win, and she's I think she's going to be the next Swiss torchbearer after Daniela. Like just incredible racing from Julie. Taylor coming in second and Kate Wolf coming in third place. Paula in fourth. You know, she's just been consistent throughout these T100 races. And yeah, the big story is the comeback from Holly Lawrence. She was over the moon, and it's good to see. It's good to see the mom power again and on the start line and doing really, really well.
I don't think she knew where she was coming out of T1. She was like, wait a second. I'm the first one to the mountain line. Like, what's going on here? This is awesome.
She was hauling ass down T1.
Yeah.
Like Morgan and her were hauling ass.
Yeah. It's another long
That's,
T1.
Yeah. Yeah.
And your feet are numb. You're out of the cold water. You probably don't even feel your feet till like the last couple miles of the bike.
Probably. Yeah, I've done that race, and that's the exact feeling. Like you step on the ground, and you're like, where are my feet? You could be stepping on glass because you feel nothing.
Yeah, some of them still in their booties. I think Spivey actually had like a full-blown pair of sneakers on that she had left on the beach.
Yeah, I saw that too, and I'm like, how can you feel your feet even to get in those? Like,
right.
Yeah.
I know in Oceanside, I couldn't feel my hands to put on my cycling shoes. And that was tough. Like, imagine trying to get sneakers off the beach.
Yeah, I've been there for sure. There's actually Oceanside. I'm just yelling, I can't feel anything to myself.
Yeah, some blood.
I think what was interesting about the women's race, and I think what we're seeing in the T100, well, I think across men's and women's, is it's like the Justin Rileys of the world. Even you could even maybe throw Mark Dubrick in there. You might start seeing, and I only say these because I know these people like off the top of my head, and I'm sure there's a few others. You're just going to see the WTCS guys. It's like a holding pattern for like above 28 to like 35-year-olds. Short course guys before they go middle distance. The money's too good, the exposure's too good, and I think that's what we're just going to end up seeing. And the women's field, I just don't think is women's triathlon in general, and this might be a hot take, is not deep enough where T100 could afford right now to like they won't have a good product if they go just like try to get these short course women. So they need to get Taylor, they need to get Paula, and their priorities are somewhere else this year. And I think this race like highlighted that.
It's a good point.
It was good to actually see, like, there definitely isn't the same depth within the women's field, but it's good to see the women kind of stepping up to that Taylor level to actually attacking it, because she was just unstoppable last year. We're seeing 5-6 minute gaps off the bike where she was just destroying everyone. So now we're seeing her actually being contended with, and she hasn't lost a T100 race before this year. So it was good to see Julie Derron stepped up, and it sounds like a lot of the women within the field are getting bike-specific coaches just to be able to continue with that Taylor factor. And I think we're going to start to see that pay off more and more throughout the year. Still early season, but it's good to see that she's not just going to run away with everything, because this makes it a whole lot more fun to watch.
What's the hot take on Taylor Nib for this race? Like, was she soft pedaling what we know she could do? I mean, Julie Derron was only a minute so off her time on the bike, and we've seen Taylor run 5-6+ minutes into people on most of these bike courses. So, and especially at San Francisco last year, she rode away. Is she going after something later? I believe it's all Kona for her this year.
Ironman legs.
I don't know. I think it was just legs on the day. Honestly, looking at the footage, I think she didn't look. There wasn't a lot of pop on her feet when she was running, so I think it was just like one of those days where it's a grind, and it's crazy to be saying that because she came second. But I think it was just like a bad legs day type of situation.
That being said, she only rode like 50 seconds slower than last year. Like, she wasn't far off, and I think she ran faster at the end of the day too. I think a lot of these women are starting to step up.
Interesting. Yeah. I want to see just more of the short course women try it. And I think it falls into like, what a terrible weekend to have this race. You're competing with so many other eyeballs and so many other races, let alone athletes in other races. And it's in the middle of the 70.3 North American washing machine of like St. George. You got, Eagle Man, and then I want to say there's like another 70.3 at the end of June, or like Boise, which is like early July. I just think it's a very bad. You have you have Hamburg, you have another 70.3 in Europe. That's a pro race last weekend. It's just a crazy like WTCS race in Italy. Like Cassandra was there. Like I'm sure Cassandra was like, I would love to go race the T100 at like schedule permitting. We might see her in one later in the year, because I think she posted herself on a TT bike earlier in the off season. So I just think like the timing of this race, I get why they did it from a business perspective. Off like going into Vancouver, it's probably like a lot cheaper to ship stuff there and then ship it up to Vancouver. But personally, I would like to throw my recommendation to T100 if you're listening. I would love to see an Olympic non-draft on a flat course, and the mighty Montauk in the Hamptons and Montauk out on Long Island is the same weekend. It's a beautiful course. It's on the way. And you can get a ton of drone shots. That's my 2 cents. Just throw us a bone.
Love it. That's close enough for me. I'll go cover that one.
That's what I've been keep saying, that we need to bring back Olympic distance non-draft. I think that's a perfect distance to race. And yeah.
I mean, we only have one in North America, and it's St. Anthony's, and that always gets a crazy pro field. Like just because guys are like, it's like so nostalgic. Like, let me go do this local pro race with, what was it, $10,000 prize purse. Like you just don't see it anymore. So it would be really like an homage to just triathlon in general. Like, we're gonna do this.
Yeah. What about Ashley Gentle? I mean, still in the top. No, outside of the top 10, 11. Came 11th. Maybe I don't know. Maybe just
she
not.
Cold. She never does well in these cold races. It seems to be time after time just kind of shows that, right? Every time that's kind of her Achilles heel. But she didn't have a great Singapore either. So
is that like, is she prioritizing something later? That's the other thing. Like Paula definitely, as we know through the Ironman series that they're doing with her, or is Ash just sitting on her laurels in a sense? Like, is she over it? I don't know.
Yeah, I think she said she's
sitting waiting on though. Like that's the thing. Like she's in the T100 fully. So like, what is she sitting on? I don't know. I think a few of them have got new coaches, or I think she's just trying to tweak her plan a little bit, and maybe there's some of that. I think Paula Finley was one of the biggest surprises of this weekend too. I mean, for her to hang on and pull up the fourth and almost get caught by Holly, I think that was a big day. I mean, I saw Paula in fifth again. I was like, here comes Paula, another fifth place at T100. And she was able to drop into fourth, and what a start to her year too. I mean, and she's not going after the pro series, but she's in it, and she's still got some races left. I mean, she could have a pretty good year at the end of the day, and TTL Empire is going to grow some more.
And people underestimate just race location. I had like, when I did power rankings for a race once, I think it was for Boulder, I was like, half these people could sleep in their own bed. That's like a huge advantage. So for Paula to like probably drive to San Fran and just have like her whole support system there, like Eric was, on the mic for a little bit. Like, I'm sure that just like, that's good for two places, I'll say.
Yeah. The vibes for sure. We talk about it a lot. It's unfortunately it doesn't sound like she's going to be able to get to Vancouver though.
Really?
That's crazy. Yeah, her visa, her green card is still going through the process, so she can't even get home to go race there.
What?
Insanity. And I think Kate Woff showed that she wasn't just a one-hit wonder in there, coming in third in that field. That's solid. So she could definitely be moving up the ranks as she gets more experience. Because I think she got a TT bike like a few weeks before Singapore. So the more time she puts in there, she can definitely be dangerous.
That's what I mean. These women they just need to get them out of the WTCS. Just get them out.
Get that bubble.
Yep.
Get her a helmet that fits, that she doesn't have to like finagle with at every turnaround on the laps.
Oh, that arrow. Well, we have another big race coming up this weekend in the Ironman Pro Series. Of course, like you mentioned, Conor, that North American crazy amount of racing going on in the Ironman. We've got Eagleman coming up, and it is pretty stacked in here. We'll start off with the women's side. Some of the top names we're going to see out there: Lucy Charles Barkley, Tamara Jewett, Alice Alberts, Lisa Beckres, Chelsea Sodaro, Grace Alexander. Let's see.
There's one, because I was doing my power rankings yesterday, and I'm like, oh, this chick is a beast. She is, and I, because she's European, and I'm like, so in my North American bubble, Danielle Kleiser. She won Valencia this year and placed third or fourth at Venice, and ran a 1:13.
Yeah,
it's like, wow.
Yeah, she's definitely coming up there. It'll be curious to see how Lucy Charles Barkley goes at 70.3 here. She just had a great Ironman race there, but she wasn't really under pressure by anyone. So curious to see how she goes with a little bit more. But it's hard to go past her in this unless Chelsea Sodaro is really cranking it up and back on form. But we haven't seen her really perform recently.
Kleiser just ran a 105 in San Francisco too. So she had the fastest run split.
She raced? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That could affect the power rankings.
You were on the right track. The back-to-back weeks, though.
There's also this American who I've never even heard of, and no offense, there's a lot of people like come through this. Adele Lincoln. She's had a couple top fives. I think she placed like fourth at Chattanooga not too long ago. And then you have this woman who's, I don't know what her age is, but she hasn't raced in like 7 years, and she was like consistent in the top five. From Canada, you might know her actually. Kristen Mercant.
Don't recognize it, no.
I was looking at her results. I'm like, Jesus, she was a beast. And you read about her, and you're like, oh, she's been hurt for like half a decade. So, Grace Alexander, obviously, like chip on her shoulder always. Lisa, that's a rest versus rust thing. I mean, a rest thing if she's going to be recovered enough. And then, who can basically, I feel like it's a race for second. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say Lucy's going to, the British are coming. The British are coming.
Well, and then the whole Chelsea and Ash Gentle, like, who are we going to get? Is it done? Are they done? Or do we have another wave for Chelsea Sodaro to come back through? Because I think a lot of people are kind of saying one-hit wonder type stuff, but it's hard to say coming off of what she did at Nice last year that she's done. I think she had a really good world champs. So I do think if she is healthy now, which we keep saying every race this year, but I think she can still pull up, and she doesn't have the wear and tear that everyone else has, especially the ones who just raced T100 and coming across the country.
If there's ever a race for her to come back, it's this. It's pancake course. Like, you either put up or shut up at this point, which might even cause more stress, like more pressure. Like, if I can't do this one, Jesus.
Oh. Yeah, I think the mental pressure definitely hurts on her side, at least, when you have all that weight of expectation that people like, okay, show us what you can do. Are you still good at this or what? But she made tons of changes last year with the bike and coach and everything else. So maybe it's taking a little bit of time to feel confident with all of that. But it would be good to see her up at the front and really pushing it, because we don't want to see any runaway races with Lucy Charles just kind of biking off the front, which we've seen her do a number of times. Swim off the front, bike off the front, and just run to the finish.
This is why, I mean, I'm so happy they made this a Pro Series race. This is our Venice, essentially. Like, the roads are butter. It's going to be, bike bigger, go home, run faster, go home. Like, you're really going to see people just hammer on the bike, knowing like tomorrow's coming. Danielle Kleiser's coming. So it's going to be very interesting, the tactics.
Yeah, for
Definitely.
sure. This has been Cody Beal's race forever too. Yeah. I think he's got the course record speaking Canadian.
He's not racing though. I asked him.
He did Brazil, so it would be like a quick turnaround. So yeah.
I gotta say that. Yeah, sorry, go.
I was going to say, let's take a look at the men's field. Again, we have a few big names on here. We got Sam Long, we've got Paul Schuster, Ben Canute, Cam Worth, who's on every start list everywhere all the time, Anthony Costas, Robert Callan, Sam Appleton, Matt McElroy, Jackson Laundrie, Trevor Foley, Cody Beals. As we said, he just raced Brazil, so he's probably not going to be down here, and a few others we go down the line. But that is going to be some bike strength out there. What do you guys think of this one?
I mean, we talk about Cam Wharf being in all these races. He was just here in Massachusetts riding 200 miles to raise money for the Best Buddies Challenge this weekend. It's like, just hop in. He and Zdeno Char are riding bikes together. So not only is he just racing every weekend, he's also doing charity rides as well. I thought that was pretty impressive. But yeah, I don't think he's going to factor into this 17.3 race.
He'll factor on the bike if any, like, you know what I mean? Like he'll rip some legs off just for sport.
Just to, yeah.
Yeah.
He's swimming
it's
well
Sam
too.
Long's race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Sam Long is looking for that win. Like he didn't show up to the T100 in San Francisco, and there's a lot to talk about schedules and them changing things and stuff. But I think at the end of the day, he mentioned that he was talking about his brand. He's like, he just wants to win stuff, and he can't win stuff at T100.
Yeah, I think the dumbest thing Ironman could have done is give Ben Canute number 3 bib and Paul Schuster number 2. Like, you don't give Ben that type of fuel because Ben has been in the sport for so long. He's been at the highest levels of the sport. The guy, he needs motivation. He'll pull motivation from anything these days. And for him to get bib 3 out of this after placing like 5th at Oceanside, I'm like,
yeah,
dude, if I'm Sam Long, I'm like yelling at Ironman, like, you give Ben 2 because Ben strategically picked this race, strategically didn't do T100 or St. George, recovered after Texas, had like, you know, an all right showing at Texas, great showing at Oceanside, and Ben's going for the Pro Series. So I'm honestly like, the only problem with Ben is small guy. Like, this is going to be a hard bike. Paul Schuster's going to push. Paul Schuster's an Ironman guy. Let's be honest. He's on a 70.3 guy. So the bike dynamics are really going to separate. Like, they just want to get away from Ben and these fast runners. Like Jackson had the highest power at St. Anthony's. And I think Jack, you know, his run legs, they're not what they used to this year. And I don't think he'll mind me saying that, but like, he's still fast as fuck. And then Trevor, chip on his shoulder, he's pissed. Like, there's just so much, like, there's so many understories in this pro field. Shakhar Saji from Israel, ITU guy, fast runner again. Like, yeah, Sam Appleton's having a cracker of a season. New kid. Like, there's a lot of stories here.
Yeah, Bradley Wise. I mean, he can bike and run, so he's a smaller guy, but I think he could be like a factor if it comes down to like the run.
He's on the start list because he's not in my power rankings.
Yeah.
Damn. All right.
Yeah, that's kind of the fun part about this year, with no real stakes in the I2 racing at the moment, or WTCS racing at the moment, with no Olympic points on the line. We are seeing some of these even Olympic distance athletes come up and see how they can contend against these Ironman and 70.3 fields. But this one feels a lot more like a classic, like North American Ironman strength type athletes race going down.
Yeah, we're definitely missing, you know, Matt pulling out, Lionel pulling out. It's not as strong as I would like to see, like a Valencia or even a St. George. Like, looking at the St. George versus this list, you're like, wow, like we really should have appreciated St. George for what it was. But then I see a guy like Quentin DeVos, and I have no idea who that is. And last night I'm just like looking him up, like, who the fuck is that guy? And he's from Belgium. He's got like a dozen top 5s, and I'm just like, all right, it's a wild card. Like, you know, who knows? But he's also like almost 40, I think. So, you know,
impressive.
But, I mean, Europe, like 40 is like the new 20 in terms of cycling. So,
from Belgium. If you're from Belgium, you can ride a bike. Seems to be the way these days.
I'm just upset Ironman gave Ben Canute 3. Like, what are you doing? Like, the guy he's literally Captain America. Like, you give him 2. Come on.
Literally Captain America with his kit and everything else he's got going on.
Like, come on. Couldn't it, like, you're right by DC. You play the story. Come on. Like, get a 21 gun salute, fire off a cannon at the start line. Come on.
This is Ironman we're talking about for your
Well, the funniest is sorry. The funniest was like, what was it, 70.3 Waco? They had like the mayor there with like a 30-30 lever action. Like, we had like a handlebar mustache. And I was like, this is so on brand. Like, we need this.
Yes.
Like in St. George, they got like They got a bunch of LDS with the whole garb.
There was a dude at Captex last weekend when I was there for our Super Tri race, and I saw him on the get off the bike and onto the run course, and he had the greatest mullet on the face of the earth. I came to find out the guy was used in somebody's social media tag somewhere, and he was this like 375-pound trucker in Texas who had gotten fit, gotten in shape, and become a runner, and now he's like this celebrity social media guy in the triathlon and endurance sport world. And I was like, and he was a badass. I think he finished like third or fourth in his age group, but it was really interesting. And that's Texas
awesome
for you.
That's awesome. Yeah, there's so many characters, so many storylines. There's also a bunch of like these, like David Reynolds. I'm sorry, but there's all these Americans on here that are like ranked above other people that I know. So that always interests me. And I look at these guys and I'm like, oh, this is the new crop. Like this guy, David Reynolds, a couple good results. Nick Gilbert, Zed Roy. And then you have like the workhorses, Adam Fye, Robert Callan, but Greg Harper as well. Just like, just pros, I call them, guys who will show up in top 10 on any given day. So I'm excited to see what this is going to do for a pro series race.
Yeah, and especially a course like that, and like you said, with smooth roads and everything, that 12-meter draft definitely comes into effect more too. You're probably going to see some bigger bunches and packs together, and then see who can battle it out on the run, because it's a lot easier to stick to everyone else with 12 meters on smooth flat roads than courses like San Francisco where we had 20 meters and a hill going through it.
Yeah, I'm jealous. I got a lot of friends doing this race, and I kind of should have dropped it on my schedule this year, but
it's a shit race to travel to though. Like you stay in a roach hotel. It's just like I just wish it had better accommodations, and I'd go. Yeah.
Well, let's make some calls on who we think is going to take it in here. Conor, as our guest this week, let's see, who do you think is going to take the win in the men's side of things?
I think Sam Long is in his own class, unless he gets a mechanical or, Sam, from what I heard after Chattanooga, was like, a couple of days he did a 100-mile bike ride, and it's like, dude, when is this going to catch up to you? Like, and so if Sam is recovered, Sam's in a league of his own. So I'm going Sam, Ben, and I think Jackson is going to pull it up the podium. And for female, I mean, similar to Sam, LCB, I think will be in her own class. And I really want to say Danielle Kleiser, and then either Grace or Tamara. It's going to be tough for third, but I just don't think Tamara has the bike legs, and Grace is really going to throw it down on this one, I think.
I like it. How about you, Josh? Who you got on the men's side?
I'm going to go with Sam Long as well. And then I think Trevor's going to finally show up. And this TT style bike course could suit him really well. And we're going to see those bike legs finally come around. We know he can run when he's fit. So I think the river swim will help him as well. He's not going to come back as far, have to come back from as far, and he and maybe work with Sam on this one together, and the two of them go right to the front and run away with it. And then I think Jackson's ready. I think Jackson's had a couple decent races. So I think Jackson's ready for the third on this one. On the women's side, Lucy, I do think Tamara's getting fit. So I will go with second. I know she's going to struggle on the bike as well, but let's go with Lucy, Tamara, Chelsea.
I like it. How about you, Fed? Who you got?
Well, since neither of you guys picked Captain America, I'm going to go ahead and go with Ben Canute. I think we need to back him up. And I think he's going to be fit and ready, and just to be different. And I think Ben could potentially upset Sam. And it's going to be an incredible race. So I'm going to go Ben, Sam, and Sam. Ben, Sam. And,
there we go.
Which Sam second?
Yes.
No, Sam Long second, Sam Appleton third. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, and on the women's side, who you got?
On the women's side, I'm going to be boring. I'm going to go Lucy, Tamara, Chelsea.
I like it. Okay, man, I really think Sam will win, but I'm going to go with Jackson Laundry is going to have a good day out there. Go the Canadian.
You haven't lost on the Canadian top step yet.
I mean, I have been on a great record for
I
picking
think
the
there's a
Canadian.
reason, but
I mean, I wish there were another Canadian on the start list, but yeah, Jackson Laundry, I think he's going to take it in there. Sam Long in second, and let's go Canute on third because he wants to beat his race number. They got him on it. There's no M1, I think, because Lionel Sanders got pulled out of there, but they got everyone.
It went down from like 43 to like 35 or something like that, or 53 to 41, I think it was. Sorry. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
On the women's side of things, I just can't go past Lucy. She is so on form, and these 70.3, she's just going to pull it from the front. Let's go Lucy. I'm going to go Daniela Kleiser and Tamara Jewett in third there. Either way, this is going to be fun to watch. Let's make one more prediction. Ironman coverage. Is it going to be better or worse than the last few races here? Will they have a commentator with a mic for the
if they zoom somebody in, like, they're just, what are they doing? They can't be doing this.
On the ground.
This is my whole point. This is the race that you explore because it's flat. The bike course is a loop, so you can go from one side to the other if you need drone shots. Like, this is a race that you can, it's just easy to do. The only problem is, like, a lot of it is, I think, like state or federal land. So I don't know if you need special permits for that. It goes through a water, like, reservation or whatever.
Yeah, watershed.
Yeah, exact. Blackwater. But I thought, I think that this is the place that you just like, you just try new shit. Like, especially just give us a fucking quad box. Didn't Ironman, am I going crazy? But didn't Ironman do something at Kona? I am going crazy.
Yeah, no.
Yes. You remember this, Fede. Yeah, like 3 years ago or something.
Yeah, they did. I don't know. It was a glitch. It was a glitch.
Alternate universe.
Right.
Man, you start going insane when you think Ironman had decent coverage in there because it can't be real.
Yeah. I think it was like the year it was like the Morton move came out, and I was like, this is wild. I was like, they got Morton moves going on. They got quad boxes.
Maybe that's it. They have the money for the Morton moves. Man, yeah, hopefully we'll see there. And like I said, hopefully they don't Skype someone in from the other side of the world because that has been a failed endeavor. It's so bad.
What was it for Oceanside? They had somebody in Australia, the team in Boulder, and then they had the live stream people on the ground. I was like, how does that all work?
I mean, at least they had somebody on the ground. I mean, they haven't even been doing that. Like, just have one or two people on the ground at every race, and it makes a big difference. And
it really does.
Can't they start like a WhatsApp chat where people send in things they're seeing happening during the race?
Or do it on YouTube and actually read the chat from the fans.
Yep.
Yeah. Or just watch stories. You can get more insight.
I will say this, like, Matt Lieto is a breath of fresh air. I just don't see how people are in a job and they don't progress in what they're doing. So, like, I'm not going to name names, but, like, there's a few people on there where I'm just like, oh, like, come on. It's on. Like, we all see it. Just, like, replace it. But Matt Lieto's, I will say this, his podcast has been amazing. Like, when I tune in, I'm like, oh, this is like, the conversation's so natural. It's flowing. It's some of the best content they produce.
Yeah. You can see the athletes appreciate his takes too. And they're sitting there, they're interested to be there. They're not like, oh, just checking the box that they had to do another podcast. So I agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
I think they just need
understanding who they are and what the kits are. Even the T100 this week, they're like, oh, we can't tell the difference in the kits. I was like, yeah, I know there's a bunch of white ones, but come on, the bike, the kit, the helmet, it's
that's somebody in the booth, like, not feeding them the right information, or like not, they need a fan back there. Like, we all knew Seth Ryder was leading the swim in St. George, and they're like, and then like Riley comes out to do his like intro, and Welch is like, he's known for his run. Let's see if he can pull off the bike or swim. And it's like, dude, that's the total opposite of what he's known for. Like, you know, it's really sad. I know for a fact, Belinda got let go because of conflict of interest with challenge. But then you hear Welch is on the mic on the course and you're like, where's the conflict there? It just didn't make sense. Like Belinda's such a fan and knows these athletes. Like she does better job than anyone because of challenge. Like she is part of why challenge is so big and successful is because her connection with the athletes.
She knows their whole life stories and she'll bring up an interesting tidbits throughout the coverage and stuff. Like she is definitely part of the gold standard there. And they need someone like that.
She cares. Like a couple of years ago, I did a challenge race, Challenge Vodka in New Zealand. And after the pro race was over, she was hanging with age groupers, asking them if they liked the race, what was their story. Like she just loves the sport and she genuinely cares. So I think you can see that when she's like behind the mic. So we need like another Belinda, but I think it's going to be hard.
So I will say this, a little insider gave me the email for the BBC producer at T100 and his phone number. I'm in the process of, I'm not even kidding. I'm in the process of writing the most comprehensive argument for a quad box imaginable.
Or just a quad.
Just don't even give me the 9 box you had in there. So it should be pretty funny, but I'm definitely going to be posting that and say, listen, I made contact. My entire brand is holding this arc right now of the quad box. So I got to deliver.
Gotta make it happen.
with 80 people in a production room or whatever it was, like Ironman does not have 80 people producing their broadcasts. That's for sure.
No, I counted 13. I did the math. I'm like, if you get paid minimum California an hour, that's like what, 20. I'm like, geez, salaries alone is $2,500 for the day.
Right. I mean, at this point, I think Ironman just wants to see how bad they can do it. Like, let's see how. It has to be like just keep lowering the bar and see if they keep, just as an inside joke. Let's see if they tune in this week. Oh, they did.
And they still a 5th box in the middle with Welchie in the middle, and that's it.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us and doing the breakdown this week. That was a lot of fun to go through all of the race results, and we'll definitely be watching Eagleman this weekend. It should be some entertaining racing, and I'm sure we'll do some breakdown of both the results and the coverage next week. Until then, have a great week, guys. Thanks so much.
Have a good one. Rudy.